President Trump wants to bring the death penalty back, but are the problems with it fixed? Car companies cut a deal with Golden State climate warriors. Bob Mueller says watch out for Russians. Mitch McConnell says meh. I'm Jamal Simmons. This is why you should care. It has been some 16 years since the federal government executed anybody. That's about to change. In an order from Attorney General Bill Barr, the execution of 5 convicts, all of whom were convicted of killing children, is to happen by next January. There had been a moratorium of sorts since 2003, primarily because of the controversy over lethal injection. In addition, during Barack Obama's 2 terms, Attorney General Eric Holder was an opponent of the death penalty, even though he okayed seeking it in some high-profile federal cases, including the Boston Marathon bomber. Here's why you should care. In his statement, Attorney General Barr said, "We owe it to the victims and their families to carry forward the sentence imposed by our justice system." But there is still debate across the country as to whether capital punishment should even be legal. The Supreme Court banned it once in the 1970s for a number of years. That included state executions as well. But recent polls show that a slight majority of Americans are in favor of the death penalty. Nevertheless, as I mentioned earlier, there is a raging debate going on across the country as to whether lethal injection is cruel and unusual. The Death Penalty Information Center lists more than 50 botched executions since 1982, ranging from problems finding a vein for the execution to questions about the effectiveness of the drugs. Add to that, drug makers are reluctant to have their drugs associated with executions. Oh, and don't forget, those on death row who were later exonerated because of problems with their trials or new forensic science. For the death penalty or against it, we should all be able to agree that government shouldn't kill innocent people, and any execution method should be swift and effective. Let's see how the DOJ makes sure those things are true. The Golden State is trying to lead the nation on global warming once again. After several weeks and in defiance of the Trump administration, California struck a deal with Honda, BMW of North America, Ford, and Volkswagen to produce more fuel-efficient cars and curb auto emissions. Last year, Trump's administration announced it would roll back Obama-era emissions rules through 2026. Instead of raising the mileage requirements to 51 miles per gallon through 2025, the president would freeze those standards at 37 miles per gallon. The administration says easing regulations would drive down car prices and in turn spur consumer purchases. But California pledged to work around the administration and implement stricter regulations to decrease tailpipe emissions. Here's why you should care. Every day we see new reports about ice caps melting, rising sea levels, scorching temperatures, severe weather. I could keep on going. There are debates over what's causing these increasingly disastrous events, but what isn't debatable is carbon emissions keep climbing. And they aren't healthy for humans and certainly not for our planet. California decided to do something about it. Because the 4 companies make up 30% of the auto market in the US, California's move will push other states to follow suit. 13 states and the District of Columbia have already pledged they will. Once car companies start making cars to meet the California standards, they're not going to sell different models in different places. These will be the standards. If California were an independent country, it would be the 5th largest economy in the world. That is what you call leverage. When it came to obstruction of justice and the credibility of his investigation, former special counsel Bob Mueller stuck mostly to the script in his testimony yesterday, leaving Democrats and Republicans unsatisfied. However, he did offer up a serious warning about election interference.
I've seen a number of challenges to our democracy. The Russian government's efforts to interfere in our election is among the most serious. No, it wasn't a single attempt. They're doing it as we sit here. And they expect to do it during the next campaign.
Here's why you should care. Just after Mueller's warning, Senate Republicans blocked 2 election security bills and a cybersecurity measure. Democrats attempted to get unanimous consent to pass 2 bills that would require campaigns to alert the FBI and Federal Election Commission about foreign offers of assistance. They also tried to pass a bill to let the Senate Sergeant-at-Arms offer voluntary cyber assistance for personal devices and accounts of senators and staff. According to a recent Pew poll, 51% of Americans are not confident that the Trump administration is making a serious effort to prevent Russia from influencing future U.S. elections. If we don't have confidence in our elections, how can we have confidence in our government? That does it for today's show. Let us know what you think in the comments or join the conversation on social media using the hashtag Whisk. And catch more great content from Hill TV by subscribing to the Hill's YouTube channel. Just click the bell so you know when new videos get posted. I'm Jamal Simmons, and that's why you should care. Catch you next time.